All right, guys, how you doing? Let's just get right into it. I thought a week out from the election that I could unplug and try to pull out of the political bubble a little bit. Just was going to accept the fate. It was going to be bad either way. If he lost, he would spend the next 4 years yelling and screaming about how the election was stolen, but he didn't lose, and the next 4 years are going to be really, really bad. But there was nothing I could do about that. I was a little burnt out and tired. And frankly, that last week was so unhinged that I thought for sure he was putting away an easy win for us. But the low information MAGA voters came through, proving that they don't care about facts or understand reality, and just drove us off the cliff into the worst timeline possible. I predicted a descent into chaos and madness, and that it was all going to be extreme and rage baiting and bluster. I just can't believe how much of sore winners these people are. You won, and they still couldn't shut up. But I thought, we're not in any real danger until they're able to take control for real on January 20th. So I'm not going to waste any energy freaking out over every wacky comment, because we know that they all have some wacky comments and every wacky cabinet pick, and for sure they were all super unhinged. And I was correct. They really churned the algorithm. I couldn't really stay away from it. All the rhetoric and memes and silly things that were said, but I'm not monetized and I don't have a huge viewership yet. So I deleted my political playlist and I tried to avoid the whole thing, which was nearly impossible because MAGA refuses to do anything that's not unhinged, including the escalating MAGA civil war, which is awesome to sit here and eat with my popcorn. All the useless cabinet confirmation hearings, all the talk about mass deportation and threatening Mexico and Panama and threatening to buy Greenland and absorb Canada, and surprise, he can't bring grocery prices down, and surprise, they can't strip $2 trillion from the budget. But I held fast, and I didn't make any political videos for 75 days. But today's the day. I'm officially back in it. But before we move forward, I want to revisit the days before Christmas and the looming government shutdown, because I want to admit that I was wrong, that they can't cause any damage until they actually take control, because I forgot that President Leon owns his own propaganda media machine, and the billionaire puppet masters own the Supreme Court, the Speaker of the House, and half of Congress. And Trumple Thinskin only ran to stay out of prison. He doesn't care about the office. He doesn't respect the office. And he doesn't want to do the job. He only cares about soothing his ego and lining his pockets, which works out since right there is Leon Mush. who can't actually be president because he's an illegal immigrant. So he literally bought the office and has been cosplaying as president, even though they haven't even taken office yet. And the first big act of the new oligarchic regime was to manufacture an unnecessary crisis and make the Republicans tank their own bill that had bipartisan support that would stop the government shutdown, fund disaster relief, and FEMA, which, now with the fires, that was kind of important, and help with farmers. But old President Leon got a bug up his ass about the bill and spent the morning rage tweeting lies and threats. And after hours of silence, old 45 piled on, saying that they also need to suspend the debt ceiling. Well, they pulled the bill and reworked it, and Leon got what he wanted, but old Tiny Fingers did not get what he wanted. But the richest man alive, who's not elected to any office, effectively stole $190 million from children with cancer, which was supposed to be in that bill. And he didn't care if he had to make the military, the TSA, and all federal employees go without pay through the holidays to achieve it. They're not even in charge yet, and they're already making a mess and spinning their wheels. They have the House, the Senate, and the courts, and they still needed the Democrats to save their ass again, as always. So, tomorrow is Inauguration Day, and there's sure to be a kickoff of a whole new level of shit show. I was going to try to cover the cabinet hearings, but it was such a running joke of endless unqualified predators and grifters, and they all just dodged all the questions about their ethics and their pasts and whether they would stand against fascism. Spoiler, none of them will, no matter what they said. They'll all get through because the senators all fear retribution from the MAGA cult. So the hearings are not worth discussing because they politicize everything. What's worth discussing is Trump already politicizing the LA fires and threatening to withhold aid to the state because he doesn't like Newsom because they're a blue state. And that is absolutely despicable. There was senators or governors, I think the governor or the senator from Alabama saying, oh, we need to look at some, they need to change their ways if we're going to give them aid. Well, you know what? Why don't we look at your state? And next time you have a hurricane and you need FEMA, how about we say, look at your 49th or 50th in test scores. How about we not give you any aid until you get those scores up? It's ridiculous. You help who needs help. And that's a major difference between the left and the right here. It's a whole nother issue, and I might make another video about that. But Tuesday, the day after the inauguration, they're all ready to start with the mass deportations in Chicago. And hopefully the newest projections are correct and it'll be mostly performative and they won't be able to accomplish what they wanted with the original plans. We, on a regular basis, deport over 100,000. I think Biden had the biggest number to date at 120,000 in a year. And they're wanting to do 14 million, 10 million, even 6 million. They'll be lucky if they get 60,000. And I don't want to downplay that because that's still awful. It's tots and pairs to all the families and people that are going to be affected by that and their lives being uprooted and upended and decimated by that. But hopefully that blows over. But also in true bizarro world, Grifter Island, 3 days before the inauguration, they released a MAGA meme coin, which is an obvious grift, obvious rug pull. All of these meme coins are just known out in the open to be scams. And all of the brainwashed people that can't afford something like that are going to lose their life savings buying into this stupid MAGA scam. At least with the other stuff, you got a Bible or you got your gold shoes. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if anybody actually got their gold shoes or not. But with this year, it's an NFT. You're buying a digital trading card. And, all right. Enough with that. The last point is that sadly poignant and grotesquely, ironically, Inauguration Day of the mega MAGA grifter sexual predator felon falls on the celebration of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And if this was a movie, it would be too on the nose. That's about all for now. I'm going to try to keep the political videos to a minimum. Maybe I'll just do them on Sundays. Political Sunday. But I'm adamant about this not being a political channel. But it is important for me to be on the correct side of history. So if you align with my political views, get with me down in the comments. And for the next 4 years, we'll cope and try to fight the misinformation and fight the fascism. And if you're on that side, I welcome you rage watching my videos. But don't bother commenting. You've been emboldened to be the worst self that you could be right now. And hopefully someday you'll realize that you were in a cult. But until then, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about grocery prices. I don't want to hear about gas prices. I don't want to hear about any of it. And if you're not into any of the political videos, then just skip them. If you like my other videos, watch the videos about movies and music and skip the political ones. Either way, I really appreciate it if you would subscribe. It really helps me out. I'm going to make whatever videos I want to make. Some of them are going to be political and a lot of them are going to be about the pop culture stuff. If we can get back on the road to reason, all of them will be about music and playing guitar and having fun and pop culture and all that stuff. But until then, this stuff is just too important. I've got to at least mention it. So, I'm going to lean into whatever gets the most engagement. So, against my will, this may turn into a political channel. And hopefully it doesn't get me thrown in jail or shot or any of the other crazy things that we have to think about by expressing our First Amendment rights in this day and age. I appreciate shares and comments and, of course, any views that you can give me. So, I'm TS, and I'll catch you on the next one.